I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susie.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on earth.
Boom.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Most Haunted City on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susie.
And my back hurts, and that's Patrick.
Oh, my God.
Back trick?
Back trick.
Yeah, that's why I'm standing right now.
Jingles!
Jingles!
It was jingles.
Did it feel like a small sword was stabbed into your lower
Actually,
back?
yeah.
Jingles?
Exactly like that.
Is it jingles or scoliosis? One'll never know.
Never know.
Well, I mean, we have some pretty
good idea.
Pretty good idea.
It's definitely jingles.
It's definitely jingles. Yeah. Jingles did open up a massage parlor recently. JT, did you go?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Oh, you should have.
That's why he stabbed you in the back?
Yeah. He's like, you didn't come to the grand opening.
Does your back hurt? Because I can fix it. I can fix that back.
He's like, well, he started out as a chiropractor, and then that just didn't work out.
Now he just runs up and down your spine.
Yeah.
This has gotten out of hand.
I know. I don't even know what to say anymore. Okay. It is a special day.
It is. It's a special day.
Why is it a special day?
It is our lovely De Bria's, our editor. It is her birthday. Birthday. Yay.
So we should probably sing happy birthday to Bria.
I agree.
All right.
Excellent.
A one.
A two. A
three.
skiddly diddly do.
Okay. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear DeBrudels. Happy birthday to you. Yeehaw!
We hope you make it to another one after the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
That's her
yeah.
birthday gift. She's going to love it.
True.
She's going to love it so
One
much.
year closer to ghosts.
Ooh. 1 foot in the grave. It's
Lord.
That's a little closer. Put it off a little.
I can tell you right now, she's cutting this, and she's like, I can't stand him.
No, this is her face. I have a family.
It's true.
That's Debria's face.
Absolutely.
You'll see lots of it if you become a parajunkie and watch the live streams in the Conjuring House.
Mm-hmm.
Should we just like occasionally just whisper her name in the middle of the podcast? Bria.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on.
You need to cut it, Jay.
By the way, if you hear a whispery Bria anywhere in the podcast, it's
not
us.
for you.
It's not ghosts. You don't have to like, oh, we heard a voice. No, it's us. We're Debriaing.
It happens a lot, though. People on YouTube, especially, they'll be like, 1321.
Yeah.
There is a movement. That can was not where it was before.
And it's true.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They
Yeah,
got it.
y'all be freaking us out because these things are happening behind us. Luckily, we have a
We do
brick
not
wall
pay
now.
any attention. Yeah, to any of that anymore.
It was a lot worse when we had a massive space behind us.
When there's 20 feet of open space for demons to gather, conjugate, and move cans.
Yes. Now, before we get into today's episode, which I haven't even told you what it is, we're doing a From One to Wicked. Yay!
One to Wicked.
It's been a while since we've done it From One to Wicked, and this particular entity was brought to my attention because of the fact that if y'all are up to date on your episodes, like vaccines, it's just like if you're up to date on your episodes, then you would be prepared for today's episode. But
you better inoculate yourself against these ghosts.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. They're coming for you.
They're coming. So this one was inspired by the Gatlinburg mountain madness creature that we were sent in.
Yeah, you remember that?
JT, show him a photo. Hold on. Actually, I can
it's
show.
It's the one that was taken at the moving car.
Yes.
Bria will insert it
for those of you.
Yeah, people watching on YouTube.
Apparently, the image is.
It's the one where sword.
Oh,
Like,
sword.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, and
Hey,
so
you just say sword.
right, sword hand. Well,
Sword hand.
so we were close, but I think we might have an identification of this entity. So one of our parajunkies, Radar, used to live in Gatlinburg, and she saw the TikTok of the photo, and she goes, "Wait, I heard a story about an entity called Spearfinger. It's a Cherokee entity from Cherokee folklore." And she was like, it has its spear finger on its right hand. And it sounds like exactly what everything she had heard of this entity sounds exactly like what she was seeing. And so I started doing some digging, and I think she might be right. So we're
Kind
going
of
to...
the skinwalker of the Cherokee.
Yes.
Because it's a shapeshifter, isn't it?
It is. It is a shapeshifter. So here's a nice offering for all of y'all. We're going to be rating Spearfinger on a scale of 1 to wicked.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, ba, da, bum, bum. So let's
1
see.
to wicked.
Oh. Now, let's see if it bleats. It bleats out.
If it bleeds, it can be killed.
No, let's see if it beats out Bloody Mackenzie, because
Bloody
we've had a
Mackenzie.
really hard time beating that man.
I mean, he is the most evil, I believe, right? Like he's a 9.
Yeah.
He's a 9.
He's a 9.
That we've covered.
Nothing's gonna beat a 9.
No, and I don't think. Well, it's
I
definitely.
still don't even hold him in the top 10 of the scary things in the world.
What?
I don't.
He was scary in life and in depth.
Right.
So-
I still don't hold him in the top 10.
Hua.
I think you need to go. I think you need to go, and you need to feel.
This is JT's whole personality. Like, this is everything.
That's because JT has a very milk toast experience with scary things.
milk toast.
Don't tell the Aquarius that. He is not milk or
Well,
toast.
I am not.
He's
milk
rushing us to the Conjuring house.
Damn straight.
Ushering us in.
to-
Now, Spearfinger, I will say, I definitely think it's going to beat the Squonk, which got the...
That is a low bar to set.
The poor Squonk got like what? Like a 0.5?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was mostly sympathy.
Yeah, or it would
So
cry itself to death.
We feel sorry for it.
Yes. Now, okay, well, let's get into the Spearfinger.
Let's get to Spearfinger.
All right. And mind you, I'm not going to even attempt to try to know that I'm pronouncing its official name correctly.
That is fair. It is
So-
a lot of vowels.
It's a lot of vowels, and I just know I'm butchering it. But Spearfinger was known as Untulunta in Cherokee legend, and is a figure from the folklore of the Cherokee people, particularly in the southeastern United States, including areas around Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which happens to be where that photo was taken. This mythical creature is often described as having a long, sharp finger made of stone or obsidian, resembling a spear, which she uses to cut out and consume the livers of her victims.
Need that iron.
Yes, exactly. So, basically, Spearfinger is typically depicted as a witch or a shapeshifter who can disguise herself, often taking on the appearance of an old woman to deceive her victims, who are frequently children. Because what's worse than a thing that rips your liver out? At least it's children, I guess.
You gotta just add that to it.
Right.
And whenever you talk about monsters like this, children are highly susceptible in the stories that they tell. But the thing to remember is children are very fragile. They oftentimes are susceptible to all kinds of illnesses, all kinds of conditions of weather. So a lot of stories of monsters out in the woods are to deter children from going into the woods where there are dangerous things, where the wolf is going to eat them, where something terrible is going to happen. So whenever you hear these stories, they oftentimes will throw in, it eats children. And I really do believe that that's culturally an attempt to protect children from the dangers of, the big bad wolf was a big child eater for, so many stories. But it was more, there's just probably some really nasty people out there. And we didn't really even accept that until the mid 20th century, we didn't really think about like predatory humans.
Right.
Or if we knew about them, we turned them into monsters.
Right. Yeah, everybody was like, up until like the 80s even, we're like, yeah, go out into the woods, have fun, walk to school by yourself. If somebody comes at you in a van, beat them with your massive textbook.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's like,
It's like, get the candy first, but then...
swing on them. So,
All right, so I started a poll on the live stream, and we have 9 to 10 ultra evil and scary, 6 to 8 pretty dang evil, 4 to 5 averagely evil, and 1 to 3 squonk level.
yeah.
So those are those.
Level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will let y'all know.
Squonk
at the,
baby.
Squonk baby.
I'll let y'all know at the end of this what the pair junkies.
We need a thermometer
Yeah.
that has that on it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I like
way
that.
You
Yeah.
can throw that image up.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, the Bria
And
get
it's
on
just the image of Squonk at the bottom.
Canva has them.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
super
Yeah.
easy.
Exactly.
You can have the squonk at the bottom crying and Bloody McKenzie at the top laughing.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So that's going to be a poll for the pair junkies. So I'll let y'all know at the
Nice.
end of the episode what's going on.
Alrighty, sounds good. So she is also known as, again, excuse my butchering of this very long word, Nun Yuni, which means stone dress, for her stone-like skin. And also, oftentimes, she is depicted of wearing a big black cloak. Very interesting, comparing the image.
That is really interesting, too, because when I was in South America, I was in Bolivia. And in the mountains, the indigenous people of that region had rock creatures that disguised themselves as boulders and rocks. And, their skin was rock-like. So I'm wondering if it's because this was in the Smoky Mountains, because it's a mountainous region, if they weren't like, this is, the way they're disguised. This
Right.
is, where they hide in plain sight. That's really
That would
interesting.
make sense. She also is often seen clutching her right hand tightly because she is hiding her heart, and that is her only weak spot, which is her right palm. So,
Interesting. That too is a very interesting thing. Misplaced heart is common among lots of stories. In fact, famously, the mountain range stories that the giant hid his heart, and he kept it a super secret where he had hidden it. And the quest was to find his heart, and it was like so far away in the deepest, darkest
Exactly.
well inside of this thing, because the susceptibility and the way we defeat these creatures is always the heart.
Right.
And so these creatures being able to move the heart from where we expect it to be to some place we don't expect it to be preserves them. It's a protective measure.
and
That's
you
really
got to
interesting.
get past her obsidian knife
The
finger.
knife hand and
Yeah.
stone
So-
skin, and and so the palm of your hand, you could just close it.
And that's why she's often seen, if you Google images of her, it's literally just her like, and that's the noise she makes.
Which is basically an indictment of dating in the modern era, because
It's a catfish.
You protect your heart with this long, sharp, pointy thing. You can't get close to me. You can't get close to my heart.
You can't. You have to get past my obsidian pokey finger. Anyways.
Obsidian poker.
So Spearfinger, being made of stone, sounds like thunder when she walks, crushing rocks into the ground when she steps on them. And her voice echoes down the mountains to the Cherokee villages and scares the birds of the forest away, which the people have traditionally seen as a warning sign.
That's interesting. I wonder if that is an explanation for thunder with no rain, or when thunder would happen in the mountains, because there's a lot of different pressures that happen in mountains that can cause like sheet lightning and things like that to come from out of the blue, and rolling thunder coming around a mountain. That might be them going, oh,
Yeah.
Spearfinger. That's
Also,
Spearfinger.
if you ever see a bunch of birds fleeing something, it's probably best to listen to them.
Oh yeah, pay attention to
know?
the animals.
Yeah.
Listen to your pets.
Listen to your pets and your birds and your trees.
Right. Nature knows what's up.
Exactly. So another thing to add to Spearfinger's dating or site, I guess, profile, Spearfinger in her free time enjoys walking the trail that joins Chilhowee Mountain and nearby Little Tennessee River.
Oh,
she likes long
walks along the river.
And she is said to have...
And she's an Aquarius.
She is an Aquarius. And she is said to have also walked throughout the mountain range, around streams, and through the shadowy Nantahala River passes. The Cherokee say her favorite home is Whiteside, a thunder mountain.
Oh, okay.
So, but she is still said to roam all over the Great Smoky Mountains and Appalachia, because she has also been witnessed in portions of western North Carolina, which there have been lots of stories of stone and mountain entities. So not surprising. But basically, though, some other aspects of Spearfinger is that her sharp spear or knife is made out of stone or obsidian, but is said that she can cut through human flesh effortlessly.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't leave a scar.
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen an obsidian blade or an obsidian like spear tip or anything like that cut. It's insanely sharp. It is so sharp, and it just glides through. I've seen it cut straight through leather, just like.
Exactly. And so here's some. So she is very predatory. And so.
What?
I know.
No way.
So Spearfinger's primary goal is to feast on human livers. And to add a gruesome and macabre aspect to her legend, the liver in many cultures is thought to be the seed of life or soul, adding a deeper symbolic meaning to her choice of organ.
Okay.
So
That's true too. It's fascinating when you think about how many people, like for the longest time, the heart wasn't where love was. It was the liver. People believed that it was the liver that was actually in charge of things like love, emotion, high emotional, center where the soul seated itself. Fascinating.
Yeah.
That's kind of
and everything passes through the liver that helps you function. So that's a pretty gruesome choice.
I'm surprised the finger's not iron. I'm surprised it's obsidian.
They wouldn't know what iron was.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah. Well, it sometimes is obsidian, sometimes it's
Stone?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Heard that.
But could have iron in it if it's stone.
Yeah,
but
that's
anyways, so in the autumn, Cherokee peoples have traditionally burned brush fires, and these brush fires have covered entire mountainsides so that the Cherokee could easily hunt the fallen roasted chestnuts. Spearfinger is known for being attracted to these fires, and in other seasons, Spearfinger searches for the clouds of smoke that rise from the valley. And sometimes she has caught victims when they wandered for a drink at a stream or picked strawberries near the village.
Wow.
So her most dangerous attribute is deception. She appears harmless and trustworthy, hiding her identity and powers while luring unsuspecting children. So in her story, sometimes she is an old woman and would approach along the trail where the children were picking strawberries or playing near the village and would say to them coaxingly, "Come, my grandchildren, come to your granny and let granny dress your hair."
Wow.
And when some little girl ran up and laid her head in the old woman's lap, because that's what you do, she wanted to be petted and combed, and the old witch would gently run her fingers through the child's hair until she went to sleep. And when she was finally asleep, she would stab the little one through the heart or the back of the neck with her long finger, which she had kept hidden under her robe.
She would pith her.
She's giving Baba Yaga.
She is
does.
giving Baba Yaga.
Yeah. Yaga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, then she would take out the liver and eat it.
Yum, 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 yum,
Nom,
yum,
nom,
yum,
nom, nom,
yum,
nom,
yum.
nom.
Liver's horrible.
It is. It's
Yeah, but
terrible.
It sounds like she wants to be young
Yeah.
forever.
Whatever, young.
So the Cherokee have traditionally been very cautious about strangers and were suspicious of those who wandered off alone. They could come. They could come back as the liver eater in disguise, because that is something that she can also do. There are many tales of her deception, including her trick of turning into her victim and hiding the body and going into the victim's home to wait until the parents left or the family was asleep to take all of their livers.
Wow, she's evil.
Yeah.
All right. She's
Yeah.
She's gonna rank
She's
pretty
doing
high, yo.
the dodo or cuckoo. The
Yeah.
cuckoo.
Dang.
That's insane.
I know.
That's wild.
And parents warned children not to go into the forest alone because Spearfinger waited for them and made sure that they knew she would appear as grandmother or their favorite aunt. So hunters...
No, that it's interesting because this sounds more like glamour than it does shape-shifting. It seems like she's using an illusion rather than actually turning into the person. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
From the sounds of it, it's not she can transform herself. She appears as, and that's a big difference. There's a big, because there are lots of, throughout the indigenous populations and nations, there are these entities capable, actually around the world. There are the idea of the entity that can alter its appearance and look like different things, but some of them can only approximate humanity, while this is looking exactly like somebody, appearing to be, because when you first said grandma, I thought it was a blanket statement, but it sounds like
It's
she
your
appears
grandma.
as the family member grandma.
Yeah.
You're not just running up to some strange woman,
Right.
going, comb my hair. It's like, oh, grandma.
Yeah. What are you
sitting
doing
on the side of the road, hiding your right hand.
wanting to pet me? Weird flex, grandma.
But okay.
Okay. So hunters alone in the woods used to see an old woman with a strange hand, and she would sing her haunting song that frightened them, and the hunters ran stealthily back to the village. The Cherokee...
I'd like to point out that this woman has mismatched fingers.
Ooh. Creepy.
I ain't playing.
So the Cherokee claimed that Spearfinger stabs her victims in the back of their neck or through their heart, drawing out their livers. Spearfinger's attack is very quick, and when she steals livers, her finger does not leave a scar, and victims do not feel the wound. Several days after the unnoticed attack, the victims often become ill and die. So she lets you suffer.
Oh, wow. Infection.
Without your liver and just rotting internally, basically, unknowingly.
Oof.
So
That's twisted too.
yes.
And it also shows a understanding of how the liver works.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. And it sounds like
Because,
she's...
it filters out toxins is its job. So yeah, that's especially creepy because how would you know?
right. And she wants you to suffer.
And she wants you to suffer. Suffer.
So she actually has a male counterpart, but they're not dating and they're not related.
Dating profile.
Yes. Not associated with Stone Man. Thank you. So another stone legend on the mountain is called Nunyunwi, Stone Man. When Stone Man and Spearfinger pass each other, they sense their relation, but Cherokee legend says the stone beings know that they are enemies because they hunt for the same food, livers. Spearfinger acknowledged the other figure is a man because he sings his song about livers in a lower voice that shakes the ground. But Spearfinger is stronger than Stone Man.
Interesting.
Instead of needing to lift stones to build, Stone Man possesses... or Spearfinger possesses stronger powers. She simply uses her power to create bridges to other mountains.
Oh, so she's full on magic.
Now, here's the thing. This is what's interesting, is because there is a story of the death of Spearfinger, which I find compelling because there are still sightings of this entity. Like, if you do a deep dive into this, like, if you do enough, like, scrolling into the ethers, you find a lot of people with photos and like things like that saying that, or experiences saying that they experienced Spearfingers. So I find this story interesting, and I wonder if there aren't multiple Spearfingers out there.
Well, and also keep in mind that when you're dealing with folklore and with legend and with myth, death is oftentimes a part of the structure of the story. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of gods die in the stories. And that is because we recognize the cyclical nature of our lives are reflections of the deities' lives. So you hear all these stories, but for as long as there's someone to believe it, for as long as there's someone to perpetuate the story, the cycle continues. So, dead gods can come back. That's a part of their existence. The idea of resurrection amongst gods is so commonplace that it is at the core of just about every religion on the face of the earth.
And so the resurrection of Spearfinger might be a thing. But let's talk about her death. So the Cherokee convened a council to devise a plan to eliminate Spearfinger once and for all, and representatives from surrounding villages gathered to discuss the matter. Being aware of her modus operandi, they decided to create a trap that would lure her in. They dug a pit and camouflaged it with branches, and then lit fires in the usual way to harvest chestnuts, hoping the smoke would attract her as she searched for fresh livers. She just can't give it up.
I know.
As expected, Spearfinger saw the smoke and made her way on down the mountain, leaving a trail of destruction behind her. And disguised as an old woman and hiding her deadly finger under her cloak, she tried to trick the men into helping her. But when they saw through her disguise, they were unsure of how to defeat her. Their arrows proved ineffective as they shattered upon hitting her stony skin. Enraged, Spearfinger charged at the Cherokee, her sharp fingers slashing at them. Despite falling into the pit, the stakes lining its interior shattered upon contact with her stony skin, failing to pierce her. The tribe fired arrows at her, but they proved useless as she swatted them away effortlessly. In a moment of desperation, a titmouse, like the bird, came to their aid, singing "Heart, heart, heart" to indicate where Spearfinger's true weakness lay. However, the hunters mistakenly aimed for her chest instead of her hand, where her heart was hidden. As a result, the arrows did not harm her, but cut off the titmouse's tongue instead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. From that day on, people believed that titmice were liars because of the incident, and the little bird flew back to the sky and never returned.
Goodness gracious, what an unfortunate shot.
Yeah. And then after that, though, the chickadee, like the other bird, revealed the secret location of the Spearfinger's heart. Hunters took aim at her right hand, which protected her heart and held the Spearfinger. As they shot an arrow at her wrist, separating her heart from her body, Spearfinger trembled with fear. She fell to her knees and then collapsed into a pile of stones, bringing an end to her curse. Now, Stone Man, who also fed on livers, heard the cheers of the hunters as Spearfinger fell, and he looked down from the mountainside and saw her right hand mounted on a post as a warning to him. However, he knew that villagers didn't know his weakness, so he ignored the warning and continued to hunt for livers and sing his song of war. So,
well, heard that.
Yeah.
Stone Man's still out there.
The Stone Man's still out there. So some moral lessons. The story of Spearfinger serves as a cautionary tale to teach children the importance of being wary of strangers and dangers of wandering off alone. But there's some symbolism. Her ability to disguise herself might symbolize the idea that danger can come from unexpected places and that appearances can be deceiving. But
a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. And her presence in the mountains and forests reflects the deep connection of the Cherokee people with the natural world, emphasizing respect and awareness of the environment.
For sure.
In conclusion, the legend of Spearfinger illustrates how folklore can serve multiple functions, teaching important lessons to children, expressing cultural values, and offering a window into a community understanding and interacts with how a community understands and interacts with the world around them. This figure, though terrifying, is a crucial part of the cultural heritage and storytelling tradition of the Cherokee people. Now, I'm still in favor that the Spearfinger is still out there.
Absolutely. Well, whenever you're dealing with these kinds of stories, the return is as important as the defeat, and that is the truth of our horror. Of what we're afraid of. For as long as we fear it, it will have power. So naturally, people didn't give up on their fear of Spearfinger just because this incident occurred.
And so now with that story in mind, let's revisit the photo, Bria. giving her a second to insert the photo.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are
above
we
my
doing?
hand.
Okay.
Above my hand. Yes. You know how like people
Yeah.
do.
Oh, I get. Yeah.
Anyways.
She'll do it. She's
Yeah.
corny like you.
Yeah.
Bria!
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. My God, my ears.
She just leapt out. I'm telling you
The
future
scream
right
she
now.
scrumped.
The scream she just scrumped.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure our listeners are pretty pissed off. Hopefully that doesn't cause any car wrecks.
Yes. Right. So with that in mind, though, the photo I find to be quite compelling. Now
I need to see it again.
Yes. Let me pull it up for you. The scrumped.
I'll tell you my rating. I already have it.
You already have
Yeah,
it.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure she's a solid 7.5.
Yeah, I was going to say in the sevens.
I think that
Yeah.
she's a killer. I think that gets her up over 5 immediately, and then she's got some wicked tendencies. Obviously, a malicious thing.
Oh, absolutely. It's also
yeah.
something I forgot to mention too with Spearfinger. She often is depicted too with having a blood-stained mouth from all
Right,
the liver
from the
she's
liver
eating.
she's eating,
And if you
right.
look at the photo, it sure looks like that woman got a blood-stained mouth.
That's true. You can kind of see her mouth a lot clearer. I think we talked about that.
We did.
The first time we went, that you could kind of see the head, and we were talking about how it kind of looked like
The horns.
the Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola's
Yes.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, the weird headdress.
And if you're looking at this entity, that would be her right hand,
Yeah, that's true.
which is very compelling. I don't know. I give her an 8 personally, because I think if you're that malicious that you're going to go for, like, she doesn't just kill you and let you, like die immediately. She does sometimes. But most of the time, she's like, I'm going to wear your skin and I'm going to go eat some more livers, and you're going to suffer in the woods where I hid you for however long it takes for your body to
liver
shut down,
Do its damn well. And there's the whole appealing to children by looking friendly and drawing them in, which is fascinating. That is a story that we tell that has a home in indigenous lore and is very common in European lore. Is the kindly old woman who brings children, Hansel and Gretel's witch, Baba Yaga, which we brought up. This concept of, come children, come here, be here. Here's a sweet treat.
Let me pet your head.
Right.
It's personally, I think she is more malevolent than we're giving her credit for. Like, this woman's doing the most.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's the death story for me. That's just it.
But
Well,
that's not uncommon in folklore.
It's
though.
not uncommon in folklore. Not to mention, we have yet to run into a character who hasn't died, including Bloody Mackenzie.
No, but y'all aren't getting my point here. Y'all aren't getting my point. Like, I mean, the Spearfinger is something that could be just non-existent anymore, but we have Bloody Mackenzie, who is known to be existent.
Yeah, that was why I said folklore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But story to story,
For sure.
I can't cite that because story to story, Bloody Mackenzie could just be a bunch of smoke anyway. He might have been a horrible man, like Elizabeth Bathory. You tell the Elizabeth Bathory story, and people are like, "Oh yeah, she apparently, according to legend, just murdered young women and bathed in their blood."
Yeah, like 600 of them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That puts her at a much higher scale, as far as I'm concerned,
No, for sure.
because the amount of malice and non-concern for human life, because I think Bloody Mackenzie was a warrior, which is a different type of entity.
Well, he was a politician that was responsible for the genocide of like thousands of people.
That's
so,
the warrior.
Oh, yeah.
The aspect of waging war.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
The construct, because there are people who've done much worse. That's we're standing at the precipice of many genocides of the last 100 or some years, and they all come from the same place, which is a nationalism and a power hunger and all these other things, which are different than rounding up a bunch of children and killing them so you can bathe in their blood. That's weird.
That's pretty
to me.
rough.
Pretty rough. I mean, and Elizabeth Bathory is one of the possible Bloody Marys that everybody calls upon and suggests that Elizabeth Bathory is Bloody Mary. So there's a lot to go into what you determine to be wicked.
It's also important to note that with Bloody Mackenzie, that's still recent enough in history that we would have a gauge of how many victims he would have. This is folklore, and I guarantee you there are no Cherokee people keeping a tally board of oh, she got another one. It's
That's fair too.
I don't think we'll ever get a full grasp on how many victims this entity has taken, but from the sound of it, she's representing nature and the danger of nature and the danger of being away from home. Yeah.
So, when you think of an entity that is basically taking the place of all the dangers of leaving home, that means she's also bears and wolves and mountain lions and frigid temperatures and exposure and eating bad things. And because that's another thing is it's possible that she is an amalgam of poison, like eating poisonous things, because that affects your liver. That's the part of your internal organs that really show the damage of poison is, you cut out the liver to see whether the person was poisoned or not.
Exactly.
She's a fascinating character, very bizarre, and she's only a state away.
Yeah.
If we want, we can go to, Gatlinburg. That is not, it's an 8-hour drive for us.
Yeah.
And the Pair Junkies said 6 to 8, pretty dang evil, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think
I wouldn't go any higher than
8.
the 8.
Yeah, 7.5. I think JT's dead on.
Yeah. All right. Well, if y'all are listening to this at home, then go ahead and leave us a comment below, especially if you're on YouTube. Let us know what you think that the Spearfinger should be rated. And also tell us your thoughts. Have you ever had a Spearfinger encounter? Let us know so we can. So. Alrighty, y'all. Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and hopefully you enjoyed this. If you enjoy From One to Wicked, let us know. We'll do more of them.
Oh, and go ahead and tell them that we got Batrick and Jingles merch being illustrated currently.
We have Batrick and Jingles merch coming soon, y'all.
Coming down the pipeline.
Coming down the pipeline. Yeah. Are you a Batrick person or are you a Jingle?
And
a
somehow
jingler.
Batrick has become...
Yeah.
Ooh, the Jingler.
Yeah.
Ew.
That really sounds bad.
Well, what would the Batrick people be?
Oh, I was saying that apparently the Batrick people are on the side of light, and the Jingle people are on the side of darkness. So I'm fascinated to see how this all pans out.
That means we're not selling any Batrick.
Yeah,
I think people will love Batrick, but you're right. They'll probably want the Jingles merch.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, okay. If you're Team Batrick, what is your fandom name?
Ooh. Oh. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the Jinglers.
The Jinglers.
The Jinglers.
That I've named for you.
That's
I'm also a Jingler.
If you want to change that, you can.
But if you're a Batrick stan,
Batricksters?
Batricksters.
The battle axes?
The battle axes. That's a pretty good one, too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bats of light.
Bats of light.
Okay, we don't have
yeah, we're brainstorming now.
We'll be going over it for a while now. We'll get back to you.
Alrighty, well, we have that coming down the pipeline for you, so stay alert for your Batrick and Jingle merch needs. But other than that, JT, you don't have any more announcements that you want to throw in here?
Nope. Lauren said Batricians.
The Batricians!
Oh, I like that. Batricians.
Yeah.
Because light electrician.
I like it.
Oh. Even with an answer, I was just taking
I was taking it mortician, but
everyone's Batrick forever. I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
they're like
Everyone's like Batrick, team.
they're
Batrick.
like, we love Batrick.
So what we need are merch that shows Batrick beating Jingles.
Oh yeah. Or Jingles like beating Batrick too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Jingles will
there's a lot
stab
we can do
you.
here.
So I mean,
There's a lot we can do here.
don't say that about Jingles. Alrighty, y'all. Well, now we're gonna go play with Jingles for a little bit. So, so thank you guys for listening to today's episode. And my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And jingle all the way. Stay spooky, y'all.